The Fisherman Who Refused to Sink, a Caribbean Motivation Original Story, Part 1 of the Caribbean Motivation Story Collection.
The sea had always been good to Elijah Baptiste. For nearly 30 years, the people of the small fishing village on the northeastern coast of Tobago knew him as the man who could read the ocean like a book. He knew when the fish would bite. He knew when the currents would change. He knew where the hidden reefs rested beneath the water. And most importantly, he knew how to come home. Every morning before sunrise, while the rest of the village slept, Elijah would push his old blue fishing boat into the water. The boat's name was Faithful. The paint was chipped, the engine rattled, the seats were worn. But Elijah loved that boat. It had carried him through storms, fed his family, and helped him raise 3 children. Whenever someone joked that he needed a new boat, Elijah would laugh. This boat and I have been through too much together. The villagers would smile. Everyone knew Elijah. Everyone respected him. But what nobody knew was that life had become harder than Elijah was willing to admit. Fish were becoming harder to find. Fuel prices had increased. His oldest son had migrated overseas. His youngest daughter struggled to find work. His savings were disappearing. And some nights, when everyone else was asleep, Elijah would sit alone on the shore, staring at the ocean and wondering how much longer he could keep going. One evening, the sky changed. Old fishermen noticed things others miss. The clouds moved differently. The wind felt strange. The birds flew inland earlier than usual. Elijah looked toward the horizon. Something wasn't right. By midnight, the storm arrived. Not an ordinary storm, a monster. Wind screamed through the village. Rain pounded rooftops. Trees bent like grass. The ocean roared like an angry giant.
Children cried. Electricity disappeared. For hours the storm raged. And when morning finally arrived, the village emerged to inspect the damage. Roofs were gone. Roads were flooded. Trees lay across power lines. And down by the shoreline, Elijah found what was left of Faithful. Pieces. Nothing but broken pieces. The boat that had carried his family for decades was destroyed. Elijah stood silently. He didn't cry. He didn't shout. He simply stared. The villagers approached him, one by one, offering sympathy, offering encouragement, offering prayers. But Elijah barely spoke. For the first time in his life, he felt defeated. Not tired, not discouraged, defeated. The kind of defeat that settles deep in a person's chest. The kind that whispers, maybe this is the end. Days turned into weeks. Without the boat, there was no fishing. Without fishing, there was no income. Without income, the bills continued piling up. The pressure grew heavier. Each morning, Elijah sat on the beach watching other fishermen leave the harbor, watching their boats disappear into the sunrise, watching life move forward without him. One afternoon, a young boy named Joshua walked up beside him. Joshua was 12 years old, curious, energetic, always asking questions. He sat down beside Elijah. Neither spoke for several minutes. Finally, Joshua pointed toward the sea. "When are you going back out there?" Elijah sighed.
I can't. The boy frowned. Why not? Because my boat is gone. Joshua thought for a moment. Then he said something Elijah would never forget. But you're still here. Elijah looked at him. The boy continued. The storm took your boat. It didn't take you. Then Joshua got up and walked away. As children often do, he had no idea the impact of his words. But those 7 words echoed through Elijah's mind for days. The storm took your boat. It didn't take you. That night, Elijah couldn't sleep. He kept replaying the conversation. Eventually, he walked outside and sat beneath the stars. The village was quiet. Only the sound of waves breaking against the shore filled the darkness. For the first time in weeks, he prayed honestly. Not the polite prayers people pray in church. The real kind. The desperate kind. The kind that comes from a wounded heart. Lord,
Join us tomorrow for part 2 of the story. Let's see how it ends. Remember to subscribe and invite a friend to listen in so that you can swap thoughts of your own about how the story made you feel. Caribbean Motivation.